Hello, 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 hello. We are going to be making Southern fried steak today. How many of you have seen one of these? Well, you know when you want your meat to be tender, you have to beat it. Well, that's one of it. Today is the 5th day of Hanukkah. Tonight will be the 6th. So happy Hanukkah to everyone. Hope your holiday is going well and hope you're being lamp lighters and just being the best that you can be in your communities or wherever you are. Hope you enjoy the recipe. Please make it, snap a picture, let me know a review, and hope you enjoy. All right, let's go. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is I like to use an egg and I separate the yolk from the egg whites, and here I have the egg whites, and what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to use the egg whites as a glue, so to speak, so that once I get to my dry ingredients, they will stick like glue to my steak. So let's go ahead and pour the egg whites into this dish here. You'll add 1 tablespoon of water. We'll mix our egg white here with the water. Okay. We're going to add a pinch of salt, which is actually equivalent to 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And let's continue to mix the salt with the egg whites. I'm going to go ahead and grab my steak and let it sit in this egg white mix for about a good 30 minutes, just so that it'll really stick well to the steak. And here we go. Let's add our steak pieces to the egg white mix, and let's just douse it on each side in the egg whites. And here we have our steak already just marinating in the egg whites and letting it dry a little bit just to stick to the steak. Soon we're going to go ahead and get our dry ingredients, and we're also going to season our steak. And I have an egg yolk that I'm going to be mixing with cashew milk to be another wet, kind of like mix before I put it into the dry ingredients. I'll explain everything as we go, so let's let this soak and I'll be back shortly. Let's add 1 teaspoon of cashew milk to the egg yolk. And we're going to go ahead and mix our egg yolk and cashew milk. This is also going to help the flour mix to stick to the cube steak. You want to have a nice crunchy steak. For our dry ingredients, let's add 1/2 cup of flour. Okay, we're going to add a teaspoon of garlic powder, a 1/2 teaspoon of paprika, 1/2 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, a teaspoon of sazon, and 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. All right, so we're gonna mix these 3 things, or all these dry ingredients, with the flour. And now let's mix these dry ingredients so we can even them out before we place our steak in here. We want to get this nice and evened out here. And just for fun, I'm going to go ahead and add some crusted pecans, salt crusted pecans. We need to add a little bit of salt seasoning. All right, and let's put a couple of dashes of salt. I guess if you want to know how much that is, it's going to be actually probably equivalent to half of a teaspoon. Now, come on, let's get these things mixed. Here we go. Let's mix it all up. These steaks are going to be where it's at. I have to hear from you guys and let me know once you make yours just how delicious they are. So here we have our marinated steak in egg white. We have our egg yolk mix and our flour mix. So we're going to go ahead and dip our steaks in the egg mix and into the flour mix and then back into the egg mix and the flour mix. And we're going to go ahead and lay them here on this foil. And here we go. Oh, these steaks feel nice and soft. Much more tender than prior to soaking them in the egg whites. And let's transfer them over now to the flour. We're going to go ahead and douse them on each side. Make sure we get enough where it's dry. Okay, and we're just going to lay it over to the side. You want to make sure you turn your eye of your stove onto medium high. As far as the oil in the skillet, you want to have it touching at least the bottom of the skillet. You don't want to deep fry completely with these southern fried steaks. You don't want to have too much oil. I like using oil, but I don't like using too much oil. All right. This is coming out just the way I would like it. This can get a little bit messy, so make sure you're prepared for that. And I'm all prepared. I think more than me being prepared, my stomach is prepared. How about that? All right, guys. I want to thank my bestie, my best friend. She just gave me the idea, something I've done before, but gave me the idea of adding a nut to my batter. And I think this is something you all would enjoy. So thanks, Kim. All right, let's just add a little bit on here before we get this going over to the skillet. Yep. And we're almost ready. You leave no spot unturned. Don't forget that. Leave no spot unturned. It's called neglect. We don't want to neglect no parts of the steak. Okay, let's add our cube steak to the oil. And it's totally ready. You want to make sure you don't have your oil too hot. What you're going to do is cook this on both sides for at least 2.5 to 3 minutes. And I guess it really would depend upon whether or not you have very thick steaks. These steaks are about 1/4 of an inch thick. So for me, I don't have to cook them for so long on each side, but you want them to be nice and crispy and a golden brown color on each side. All right, looks like we're ready to turn these over. Oh, wow, they look absolutely scrumptious. I'm gonna have to get a closer view so that you guys can really see what they look like. Wow, look at that. Man, they look good. You want to make sure you get this nice golden color. And you can see the little speckles of pecans that I added to the chicken. Oh, I'm sorry, to the steak. And yeah, here we go. And let's go ahead and transfer these over. Man, this looks so good. Oh, wow. Oh, nice and crunchy they are. And I'm going to go ahead and start with the rest of the batches. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and start making our gravy. So what I did was I skimmed off a lot of the oil that was in the skillet, and I put some onions in. This is about 1/4 cup of onions to make the gravy. Okay, and we want to brown our onions. You want to make sure they get to the point to where they're translucent. This is going to be a nice, delicious flavor for our gravy. Just wait. I cannot wait to get this into the system. All right, let's incorporate about a good 2 teaspoons or so of flour. And you want to mix it, and you want to mix it quickly. You don't want it to sit and stand. Depending on how much you want to incorporate into your gravy. And instead of using milk like most people do, we're going to use cashew milk. And you can also substitute with almond milk. It's up to you. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start incorporating our almond milk. Be a nice thick gravy. You want to make sure you have your stove on medium low, actually. Look how nice and thick this is getting. I want to add a little bit more. And I'm actually going to turn this off at this point, the stove. It's right where I want it to be, because even after you take out your gravy, it's going to still continue to thicken. So you want to take it out before it reaches the capacity or the thickness that you are looking to achieve. Now let's not forget, we got to add a little bit of salt and black pepper to our gravy. I mean, what's gravy without some black pepper and salt? Anybody can answer that. Has to be nice, thick, and a little bit of black pepper and salt. Just seasoning it up very perfectly. And look at that, man. All right, I'm going to plate this and show you guys what it looks like, and then we're going to go ahead and enjoy it. For the finished product, look at that. Oh, how gorgeous this looks. I'm going to have to show you all what it looks like once I pour the gravy onto it. Absolutely scrumptious. And here goes for the top. Yum.